Welcome back to Strayatrains. In this video we're going to take a look at the first newly upgraded Siemens during its first week in service. Let's head to platform 13 and take it on the Sandringham line. This is also my first ever look inside, so pretty excited. Let's go. Entering the train for the first time, and you can see the difference straight away with the Pids. Instead of it being square based, it is definitely much more smooth. Anyway, let's go and explore the train.
This is a service to
Strayatrains.
stopping all stations direct to
Strayatrains. So the first thing we'll look at is the emergency intercom. This is what the current or old intercom looks like, and the new one looks like this. Much more fancy looking and easier to access in terms of where you're meant to press. You can see there the red button with the blue colouring there, which is definitely much nicer, and still the carriage number on the top. Next up, we're going to take a look at the differences in the passenger information display. First up, we'll see the old version, and then we'll look at the new one, starting off here with what the Metro looks like. This is just when the train's idle at a station or out of service. Next up, we see a Siemens first. Usually, it just says the service on the PID. However, for the first time ever, it actually says "Welcome to Metro" and verbalizes what the actual service is.
Welcome to Metro. This is a service to Sandringham, stopping all stations direct to Sandringham. This is a service to Sandringham, stopping all stations direct to Sandringham.
So yes, you will notice that the announcements in terms of frequency and sound is very similar to the Stage 3 Life Extended Alstom Comenge. However, where this train differs is the actual passenger information display. As you can see there, it says next stop Richmond, or whatever the next stop is, and then after maybe every 10 seconds or so, it just switches to the actual service what it is. So this is a Sandringham train, and then after about another 10 seconds or so, it will switch back to saying what the next stop is, which is quite neat, but we'll take a look at a review later on. We're just looking at the actual differences right now. Now we'll fast forward to arriving at Richmond, where we'll see the Siemens for the first time ever actually listing the services to change there for.
Now arriving at Richmond. Change here for Belgrave, Lilydale, Alamein and Glenwaverley services. Now arriving at Richmond. Change here for Belgrave, Lilydale, Alamein, Glenwaverley services. Richmond. Change here for Belgrave, Lilydale, Alamein, Glenwaverley services.
Another aspect of the new announcements that stands out is that little ding before it announces every station. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the type of sound you'll hear at an airport. Anyway, let's take a look now at when you're arriving at a station that is not a junction.
Now arriving at Brighton Beach. Now arriving at Brighton Beach.
And this is what it looks like when the station is small enough to fit without any scrolling.
Now arriving at Hampton.
It's similar to the old Siemens. When actually stationary at the station, it just says the station's name on the PID. Anyway, let's head now to see what it looks like when the train terminates. And unlike the old Siemens, this really does mirror the current Stage 3 Alstom Comenge announcements. So instead of saying the next station is or anything like that when departing the second last station on a service, it just announces that the train's terminating once you actually get close to the termination station.
This train will be terminated at Sandringham. Now arriving at Sandringham. This train will be terminated at Sandringham. Now arriving at Sandringham. This train will be terminating at Sandringham.
And just quickly, this is what the PID looks like when there's a driver's announcement on the train, which is really good. It stands out with the dark blue. So yeah, just another change to the PID. Now that we are at Sandringham, let's take a look at the exterior. These are the two coupled carriages, and as you can see, similar to the Stage 3 Alstom Comenge, there is no destination on the headband. It is just blank, or really just a white rectangle. However, the destination headbands on the leading and trailing sets are a very different story. Inspired by the HMT destination headbands, here is a white coloured Metro, and this is what it looks like heading to Flinders Street there, which is very good. Much more visible during the day, whereas the old green really used to not stand out too much. So a great improvement, and they look really good. So those are probably all the major changes on the new upgraded Siemens train. As we head back to Flinders Street, let's now review it and discuss about the changes. So the first off, quickly with the new emergency intercoms, well, I think that's a no-brainer. You want them to be very visible, very easy to use, especially as they are generally used in very important and potentially high-tense situations when needing to speak to the driver. So I think that's definitely a big plus with the train. As mentioned before, yes, the destination headbands are a big plus, much more visible, which is really nice. However, regarding the interior PIDs, I think overall, in my opinion at least, they're definitely much better. They definitely display and therefore read a little bit better. The announcements are very clear and a little bit more frequent, which I think is very nice, especially when you're in crowded trains where you might not be able to exactly see the PIDs with your eyes. So the announcements are definitely a great way to let everyone know where the train's at and where the train is heading to. Also, they scroll very slowly, which is good. I thought the old Siemens scrolled fairly fast, so it is definitely much easier to read them too. The only real downside to the announcements is the ding that's played before every station. I think maybe only like, for example, terminations and junctions, if it was to be played, that would be important. But when it's played at every station, it loses its purpose, and it is kind of annoying, I guess. And then other than that, though, really good. However, from a train perspective, I guess as an enthusiast, they are kind of a bit annoying. I mean, it would be nice to see something unique, similar to the current Siemens announcements, because they definitely are the most unique on the network. But now it just feels like a Stage 3 Alstom Commons or an Extrapolis train, I guess. So I guess there's a downside on that. But from a passenger perspective, which is what they were, I guess, made to do, they were designed really well. So it's very exciting to see them come onto the network. And I hope passengers enjoy them and makes their life a little bit easier. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, what your opinions are, because I'd like to have a discussion on them. And let's send off the train and take a look at the exterior one more time, which definitely is much more cleaner.